What's up, all you good fellow fly guys? You know who it is, the cat in the hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michael Andrew of StarArchitects.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this styling thing. And welcome to another Discourse in Dress, some expressions for your ensemble and some sonnets for your style. Now today we're going to be talking all about the anatomy of your shoes. And the reason why we're going to have this conversation is because style is a language, and if you haven't picked that up yet, then hopefully you're picking it up now. And I've noticed that confidence and conviction often comes with men in the information and the awareness that they obtain when it comes to a certain subject. So I want to make sure that your style is going to be stayed in confidence and in conviction, and you have all the information that you need about your identity when it comes to your image, so that it is in alignment with how you want to create your character. So we're going to start with the shoe, and we're going to start from the bottom, and then we are going to work to the top, and you will hopefully learn some new things about what the shoe is actually comprised of and the benefits of you purchasing these shoes. Now, a quick caveat: this is going to be about casual or dress shoes. This is not going to be about sneakers. I'm not super well versed in that space. I do know about the anatomy of sneakers. So if that is something that you would like for me to cover, please leave some comments in the comment box, and I will make sure that we do that the next go around. But the focus for this is going to be dress shoes as well as casual shoes. So let's start with the bottom. Now, the first thing that we have to discuss when it comes to the bottom is the sole. And you know that I was talking to you conceptually about the sole, that the sole is the thing that is unseen but still carries other characteristics such as sound when you are walking through a hallway or walking through your office. And a quality sole is going to generally be made out of leather. And that leather is going to create a unique sound when it's, again, coming through the office. And even though I did talk about rubber soles, and I told you that they are more for casual or hustling types of mentalities, if you are having a sole that is made out of rubber, and typically like boots are made out of those different types of things, it is still for that casual terrain, but that doesn't mean that it's any less quality. So a leather sole is generally the top quality when we're talking about the qualities of a shoe. The second thing that you have when you are looking at your shoe is the heel. Now, the heel is the space that will help elevate you, literally, if you're a little bit shorter, and it also will balance out the dynamic of the shoe. A quality shoe will have a replaceable heel. That means that the leather piece that generally a heel is made out of can be removed and then replaced by a great cobbler, and you can continue wearing them. Now, what happens for most shoes that are not quality or that are rubber soled, you're going to have a connected piece of the sole as well as the heel, and it's going to be irreplaceable. So if you replace the heel, you'd have to replace the whole sole of the shoe. Now, that doesn't mean that the shoe is not qualitative, but it is more expensive, and that can be a difficult process for a cobbler to do because of the next thing that we're going to talk about, and that is the welt. The welt of a shoe is the piece, essentially the bottom piece, that will hold everything together. So its functionality is also the same symbolism. It's making sure that a qualitative shoe is going to be held together by unique parts. And what will happen when you look at the welt is you'll see stitching on quality shoes that outline the bottom of the shoe. Now, that's how you know it is a Goodyear welt on the bottom of the shoe, and there are different types of welts that can be on there, but if you're looking for a quality shoe and you have the money to pay for it, it's always good to have a Goodyear welt because those are easily replaceable, and it speaks to the quality of how everything is put together. So the next piece of a shoe is the heel cap. Now, the heel cap is the unspoken supporter in your shoe. It's something that most people don't know about, and the heel cap is the piece of leather that is a shock absorber in dress shoes. So in a quality piece, you'll see either the space glued or it will be stitched down as another part of the beginning of the heel for your shoe, and it will allow for extra comfort when you're walking throughout the day. So with quality shoes, you'll notice that there's a lot of comfort attached to quality. And that allows you to move throughout the day, to be on your feet, to be able to make those power moves in a state of assertiveness and authority. That's why it's good to invest in qualitative shoes. So the next part of the shoe is going to be the upside, or the top side of the shoe. But before we get right there, I wanted to talk to you briefly about the insole. Now, the insole of a shoe is that unseen supporter, that unseen identity for who you are. And oftentimes when we are doing custom shoes here at Trilogy for our clients, what we will do is we'll change the interior of the insole. And you can also, with our company, change the bottom of the soles of the shoe. That's a very interesting thing for me, because a lot of guys would say, who cares what the insole looks like, or who cares what the bottom looks like? Nobody's ever going to see that. But people forget that those colors that you wear, those colors that you even put yourself into, have power. And if you understand that and you want to feel a little cooler, it's an interesting dynamic once I make this aware to certain clients, that they start feeling a little bit cooler. Even if they have on an orange shoe or a quarter-inch shoe, the interior is blue, so it's creating that cool effect for them. And so even when it comes to those things that other people may not see, it's the details that actually create the ambiance for the attitude of your attire. So it's just something to consider. Now we're going to move to the top of the shoe. Now the top of the shoe is the visible element. It is the expression. It's what everybody is going to get from you. And if you watch the What to Wear Wednesday, then you know that the simpler the shoe, the more sleek and streamlined the shoe, generally speaking, the more classic or elegant the shoe is perceived to be. And then the more ornate and elaborate the shoe is, the more casual it's going to be. And I know that some people are kind of confused when I often educate them on that, but that is the way that it looks. And just think of a smooth, sleek car versus a car that has a whole lot of clunky things on it that kind of take away from the streamlined appeal of that. So the next aspect of the shoe is the vamp. Now the vamp is going to start at the front of the shoe and go back as far as the quarter, and it's essentially just the upper front aspect of the shoe. And this is where you can add some unique details or a separation of different types of leathers or fabrics for the shoe. And because of this, you'll see some detailing that may change in that space, and that's a very subtle way for you to set yourself apart from the masses. So since we're in front of the shoe, let's stick with that aspect and let's talk about that toe cap. The toe cap is a piece of leather or fabric that will go over the front part of the shoe. And if you're in a sneaker, you've seen the rubber top on some Converse, or just in a cap toe, that's what they're talking about, is that front part of the shoe that is capped by a leather strip or a leather piece. Now, while most people may think that that's strictly for decoration, and oftentimes it is, it also will help reinforce the piece of the front piece of the shoe and will make it more secure. So it does have some functional benefits as well. So the next aspect is going to be the quarter. Now the quarter is going to begin where the vamp ends, and it's going to cover the back of the shoe. Now it's generally more for decoration or for your ability to switch up the fabrics again there, but it also will cover the seam on the back of the shoe and make it just a little bit more elaborate or more seamless. Now in a hole cut shoe, then you will see that seam going up the back of the shoe, and there will be no quarter there. The quarter will be the piece that is seamed and stitched together. So the next aspect of the shoe is the tongue. Now the tongue is that flexible piece of leather that is in between the eyelets of a shoe, and it actually is going to relieve pressure from the rest of the shoe if it's being tied together, and maintain a certain level of separation over the bridge of your foot. So the tongue, while a lot of people don't think about it, is actually a very important component of your shoe in helping reinforce the balance of not only the image but also how the pressure goes on your foot. And One thing that, again, a lot of people don't pay attention to that some cool shoe designers will do is they'll paint that tongue a slightly different or darker color than the rest of the shoe. And when you do that, it just adds one more piece of the puzzle to create a unique expression that a lot of people may not see. So speaking of being around the tongue, we're going to talk about the eyelets, and the eyelets are nothing more than the holes that you put the shoestrings in. Most dress shoes will just have the holes punched in there, and then the shoe laces will generally be waxed so that it allows for smooth movement when you are lacing the shoes together. So the last aspect of the shoe is the top line, and the top line is essentially where your foot goes. So it's probably one of the more important aspects of the shoe. So that is the anatomy of the shoe. So make sure that you leave me some comments in the comment box about your thoughts and question. What aspect of the anatomy of a shoe did you not know about, and how is that going to change how you are shopping in the future? Leave me some comments in the comment box and let me know your thoughts. I always love hearing from you and hearing those different aspects of how your style is developing. Please make sure that you give this a thumbs up if you thought this information was qualitative. Please make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any one of these conversations. We're here Monday through Friday, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm giving you exactly what you need. Make sure that you check us out on our Instagram, #Style Speaks, and let me know how your style is speaking. I would definitely love to hear the statements or see the statements that your style is making, as well as see how your sartorial story is developing. And before I get up out of here, don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind, so you should always dress to express. I'll see you next week. Peace.